everybody, it's Jenny, and I'm so excited to share my first project today as part of the Miss Ink Stamps video design team. For my project today, I'm going to be making a bright and colorful hello card using the Pretty Bird stamp set. I'm going to start by stamping out a couple of my images onto some 80-pound Neenah cardstock using some Copic-friendly ink. Once I have everything stamped out, I'm going to go ahead and hold my cardstock in place using some washi tape, and then I'm going to bring in a bunch of different Copic markers to color in my images. When I use Copic markers, I like to first start with a flat layer of the lightest color, and then add in the midtone, and then finally the darker color, and then I go back and forth between the three until I get a nice blend. Next, I'm going to add some really awesome sparkle using the Dazzle dust from Miss Ink, and I'm going to be using Moody Blues and Coral Crush. And so to do that, I'm just going to go in with a glue pen in some of the areas on each of my birds and on my leaves, and I'm just going to color those in, and then I'm going to dump my Dazzle dust on top and then tap off the excess. For the leaves, I'm just going to trace the black outline so that my birds are really the focal point of my card front. While the glue is not fully dry, I'm going to go in with my tweezers and just clean up my lines a little bit. Next, I'm going to wipe off any excess glitter and then set aside my images so that the glue can fully dry. For my background, I'm going to bring in an A2 size piece of light blue cardstock and the Oopsy Daisy stencil, as well as some Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink. And then I'm just going to use an ink blending brush to add that ink across the front of the cardstock. Next, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut each of my images and then set those aside again and then move on to the sentiment. I'm going to bring in another piece of white cardstock and I chose the sentiment that says, "Just a little hello cod." Then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out a couple times to get a nice crisp impression. Once I have that stamped, I'm just going to go ahead and set that aside for a minute and go back to the background panel. I brought in a couple different rectangle layering dies and I'm just seeing which one I like the best, and I end up choosing the one that leaves me with about a 1/2 inch border, and so I'm just going to use some washi to secure that down and then run it through my die cut machine. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the sentiment that I just stamped out and trim that down into a strip. And finally, I can start playing around with my layout and see how I'd like all my pieces to fit together. So now that I've got everything laid out, I'm going to go ahead and bring in some foam tape to pop up my frame. Then I'm going to bring in a piece of 110-pound white cardstock and just trim that in half and then fold it in half again to create my card base. And then once I have that ready to go, I can start attaching everything to the card front. I'm going to pop up my two birds with some foam tape as well, and then before I press those down, I'm going to add a few drops of liquid adhesive just to make sure they really stay in place. Onto the sentiment strip, I'm just going to trim that down and add an angled edge. And as one final step, I brought in some teal sequins from my stash, and I'm just going to add those across the card front. I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my space here real quick and then give each of those sequins one little extra squish to make sure they're fully secured. And here is a close-up of my finished card, and I must say it's pretty dazzling. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the description box below for all the products used in today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!